I'm doing a presentation for the people in America about this.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Um,
welcome everybody. We're tuning in live with Hooman, who's going to
Whoa,
share with us what he's doing today.
what's the
Pardon,
Wi-Fi?
Hooman.
One shelter and then one till eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, thank you so
Shelter,
much.
yeah, 1 till 8.
Sorry, you guys ready for me?
Yeah, no. You go whenever you're ready. It's all good.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get on the Wi-Fi here, but I can't seem to get on it. Okay. All right, so this is the mural that's going to be unveiled. And as I was telling the group earlier, I'm in the town of Eilat. So I'm basically in the southernmost tip of Israel. I'll just show you what I showed everyone before the live stream started, which is, can you see in the distance those mountains? That's Jordan right there. And so that's how close we are to Jordan. When you stand on the beach, you can see Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and you can also see Egypt. So just to give you an idea of where we are. All right, let's go back to that mural. Did you put that up? Okay, great. So on the far left side of that mural, this is the mural that's going to be in Eilat. You have the words woman, life, freedom. And it's not, if it doesn't have the words woman, life, freedom, it's not a mural that's supporting the women of Iran. That phrase is for the women of Iran. So every mural that says woman, life, freedom is in support. On the left-hand side, you have a symbol that looks like a key. The top of that key is a crown. It's like Esther's crown, because you can see in the middle of the mural, Esther's of the world rise up. Inside the crown, you have a menorah, and the biggest flame of that menorah is a dove. It looks like a dove. And then that turns into a key. Then next to that is a peacock. And the peacock is a real royal bird for the Jews and the Persians. It's mentioned in the Song of Solomon. And the earliest Christian church, they didn't really use the sign of the cross at the beginning because they didn't want to get persecuted. So instead, they used the sign of the peacock. Then underneath that red flower, that's the flower of Israel. And then next to that, on the right, is the Lion of Judah outside the Temple Mount. That is the flag of Jerusalem. And then underneath that is the symbol of Eilat. And we turn that into a stained glass window. The four women along the bottom, the first one who's smiling, who doesn't have a bird covering her eye, her name is Sahar. And she was killed by Hamas on October 7th. And her story is, am I frozen, by the way, or can everyone see me okay?
No, you're good. We can hear you clearly.
No, you're good.
Her story is she was guarding one of the Iron Domes. And when October 7th happened, the Iron Dome system that Israel has was overwhelmed. And all of the Iron Domes were running out of missiles very quickly. So her colonel came to her and two other of the soldiers and said, drive 3 miles down the road, get a bunch of missiles so we can reload the Iron Dome here. She gets the missiles in her truck. They're about, oh gosh, maybe 300 yards away from the Iron Dome. Out of the bushes come 100 Hamas members. And they put 1,000 bullets into the truck. And they killed all three of the soldiers. And I think they even took the missiles. So she died, obviously defending her country, defending her land, defending her people, all of it. Next to her are three women. Now, in Iran, those of you who've been on in the past know that in Iran, if they don't shoot a woman in the head for not wearing a hijab, not covering her hair, the other thing they'll do to them is they'll shoot out one of their eyes.
Oh my God.
And the reason they shoot out one of their eyes is to mark them. So everyone knows that this person has been disobeying the laws of the Quran, according to the Shiites. And Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, says these women are making war on God. By not covering their hair, they're making war on God, so they have to be punished. So the woman next to Sahar, uh, covering her eyes, the nightingale, and the nightingale is the bird of Iran. Her name is Nilufar. Next to her is a woman named Elahe, and Elahe covering her eye is a dove. And then the woman on the end, her name is Mercedes, and the bird covering her eye is an eagle. All of these birds are mentioned in the Bible. The background to the mural is Eilat. So that's what Eilat looks like when the sun sets. If you fly into Tel Aviv or if you're staying in Jerusalem, it's a 4-hour drive south. Let's just look at the far right of the mural, and then I'll tell you about the Bible verses. So you got the pomegranates. Now in Israel, I think starting tomorrow is Rosh Hashanah. This is the highest holiday for the Jews. This is the holiest holiday, and it's represented by pomegranates. Now, in Persian, in Iran, pomegranates is like life, rebirth because of all the seeds. And it means the same thing for the Jews. Then you have another key. Then underneath the pomegranates, you have like this weird tower. That's like the Eiffel Tower of Iran. It means it's called Azadi Tower. It means freedom tower. And then next to that tower is the flower of Iran, which is the water lily. Then you have the words woman, life, freedom written in Farsi and Hebrew. And then underneath that, I had my designer create a stained glass window of Eilat. So that's sort of the overview. Now, listen, I'm in Israel. And in Israel, many of the people here don't believe in Jesus. The Jews don't believe in Jesus. And so all of the murals up to this point have only had Old Testament verses, verses from the Jewish Bible. This is the only mural in all of my murals that actually has New Testament verses.
Wow.
So next to Sahar, and the reason I was able to do New Testament verses, the dude who owns this shelter here, his name is John. I think he's from the Netherlands, and he just really loves Jesus. And the reason he takes in so many youth that are lost is, often they don't know what to do. Some of them are ultra-Orthodox Jews who have left their community. They've been excommunicated. They don't have any family. And so he brings them here. He obviously gives them shelter, prays for them, the whole 9 yards. It's really beautiful. Next to Sahar is a really important verse, John 4:22. Now, John 4:22, there's this moment in the New Testament where Jesus is talking to the woman at the well. And the woman at the well is a Samaritan. And Jews never talk to Samaritans. They just never did. And so Jesus is a Jew, and he's sitting there talking to a Samaritan, and she's shocked. And she says, how is it that you're talking to me? You're a Jew. I'm a Samaritan. Jews never. And they have this big exchange, and Jesus realizes this woman's committing adultery and all these other things. And then they're looking at a mountain, and the mountain's called Mount Gerizim, and it's right now it's in the West Bank. And she says something about the mountain, like our ancestors, worshipped on that mountain. And Jesus says to her that, now this is John 4:22, you Samaritans worship what you do not know, but we Jews worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. Now these are Jesus's words. Now, that verse has impacted me quite a bit, and so I really wanted to put it on this mural. This shelter is celebrating 40 years. And so in the top right-hand corner next to the pomegranates is a verse from Hebrews 13:2. And this place shows hospitality. And if you look at what I wrote along the top, celebrating 40 years of opening doors and changing lives, 4 decades of warmth, welcome and compassion, a shelter with open arms. And Hebrews 13:2 exactly exemplifies that. Do not forget to show hospitality, for by doing this, some have welcomed angels as guests without knowing it. So I wanted that to be the theme along with congratulating these guys. Underneath that, you see Jeremiah 49:36. Elam is the ancient name of Iran. And this is a passage where the prophet Jeremiah talks about the destruction that's going to happen to Iran. And he says, I will bring upon Elam, Iran, the four winds from the four corners of the heavens, and I will scatter them to all these directions. There will be no nation where the exiles of Elam will not come or will not go. So I wanted to put that in there because the sister verse to that is Revelation 7:1. And this is John the apostle, not John the Baptist, John, the only one of Jesus' apostle that was not crucified. And he says, after these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. And so above Jeremiah 49:36, you have the four angels holding back the four winds. So that's the mural in Eilat. It's a mural that showcases four incredibly strong women. It shows the unity between the Persians and the Jews. It highlights Eilat. And it's the only mural with New Testament Bible verses. That's it. What do you think?
Love it.
Amazing.
Amazing, Hooman.
Oh, thank you.
Love it.
Quite an education.
Yeah. Sorry for those of you who didn't want a Bible lesson. Forgive me.
No, I think that's helpful. What do you think, Caroline? I think this is your first experience meeting Hooman.
Yes,
See the
yes,
work he's doing, so please share.
yes. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I think it's the mural stands for like many women. I think what you're sharing right there, I relate to it in a way like as a woman. I relate in some senses to life freedom. Maybe I relate to Lily too. I have known some Lilies, you know. So I know I relate to in those matters. I relate to it in terms of like the hope that we have that things change. I relate to it. I'm not a religious woman, I gotta say. So I don't. I did have as a young age. I studied in a school that have religious education, but that wasn't. I didn't pursue that education all the way because I'm not. I don't believe that in deeply in those matters. But I'm impressed of what you are showing to us. Definitely, it's first time I know things like you're saying right now about the culture that you have. I mean, some symbols, I have seen. Symbolically, there are many things that they're not far of our culture because most likely some of your culture has trespass boundaries and being here in the South Pole too. So I believe that in the Union, I like the way you're showing us a place of shelter where people can encounter and people can stay in peace. That's what I'm relating to what you're showing to us. I don't know what was your purpose to showing to us this.
Yeah, so my purpose is this. These women have to show so much courage to be able to show their hair or even to dance or even hold hands with their boyfriends or whatever. It takes so much courage for a woman to be able to do literally anything. Because in Iran, to this day, a woman has to have written permission from her husband or her father to even travel. So what the purpose of these murals is to show you, because right now our world news is hijacked. 90% of our world news is Gaza. 10% of our world news is Ukraine. That means the other 28 wars in the world you don't hear about, you don't even know about. You don't know what's going on in Congo. You don't know what's going on in Ethiopia. You don't know what's going on in Azerbaijan. And you don't even know what's going on in Iran. Here I am showing you these women. I'm showing you even a Persian Jew killed by Hamas on October 7th. You didn't know anything about it. I make these murals to put the eyes of the world not on Gaza and not on Ukraine, but on Iran. The eyes of the world needs to be on Iran. Never forget, Iran funds Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and the Houthis. They're the number 1 sponsor of terrorism for the last 40 years for the whole world. Whenever somewhere random blows up, like if you hear of I'm gonna say blowing up in Nigeria or Panama or whatever, it's the Persians that paid for that 99% of the time. And so if you stabilize Iran, you've stabilized the whole Middle East. You've stabilized the whole Middle East, which basically means you've stabilized the whole world. And so as long as our news is showing you the wrong things, this is what's going to happen, Carolina. You're gonna look at this and you're gonna say, "Oh, I don't understand the point," or "I don't get it." I'm trying to show you the eye of the octopus is Iran, and everything else is just the tentacles. The only reason Gaza is happening is because Iran funds Hamas to kill the Jews. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm showing you this to show you strong women. Here's my other problem with the world. My other problem. It's this. Every book, every television show, every movie is about what today? Some female superhero. Oh, that's all you see. Some woman, even Barbie, right? Here in Iran, you have real women superheroes, and no one's talking about it. The West will not talk about it. And here's the other sad thing. Because it's very fashionable to hate the Jews and hate Israel, the Western media will not cover these murals. They won't cover them because it makes Israel look good. You know how many woman life freedom murals there are in Afghanistan, Qatar, Lebanon, Iraq, UAE, Saudi Arabia? Zero. The answer is zero. Why? Because these murals are showing a woman's hair. And you can't do that in the other countries. Don't
Crazy.
forget, we're fighting over hair. That's it. Nothing more. We're fighting over hair. Okay? So this is the purpose. The purpose is to educate the West, that is the least educated when it comes to the world. And then it's to show you these courageous women, these women that you have never heard of and the news will never talk about. And then it's also to show you that the Jews, Israel, the Israelis are the only, even during a time of war, are standing with the freedom fighting women of Iran. That is the point of these murals.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. Thank you. Jerry, did you have a comment or were you already off?
I don't have a comment. I except Hooman, you amaze me, and every time I see you, I'm remiss in not saying that when you talk about bravery, you don't mention yourself. You're one of my heroes for the bravery you bring for these women as their advocate. Really, you risk so much, and nobody pays attention to that either. So I'm a huge fan, and your work is beyond. In fact, someday maybe replicas of these will be in a museum somewhere, and we can all visit that room.
Let's
Maybe
hope
the
it, first of all,
Museum of Tolerance.
yeah, right. The museum. Let me say this, Jerry. First of all, Jerry has contributed funds to the murals, which is so great because I actually pay for these myself. Jerry, thank you for your incredible generosity. I'm so grateful to you. In terms of getting him into a museum, let's hope and pray that we get him into the Louvre, right? And then I'm working on doing a documentary of these 18 murals. One more thing about Israel. I don't know if any of you want to go for like the adventure of your life, but if you have it in you, come visit Israel now. Come visit Israel today. First of all, just to warn you, it's incredibly difficult to get into the country. And yes, there are missiles over your head. It's true. But the country's empty. And you're definitely walking into a war zone. But the Israelis are so grateful for anybody that can come. And I come because the Jews are standing with the women of Iran. And every time I put a mural in the Holy Land, it's like an atomic bomb. I put these same murals in Kansas City or Seattle or Colorado somewhere. No one would care. Forgive me, but no one would give a shit. No one. You put these in Jerusalem, Nazareth, Haifa, all the holiest biblical places. It's like, and you know, the Islamic regime wakes up every morning. What do they say? Death to Israel, death to America, death to Israel, death to America. I put them here to upset the Islamic regime as well. I want them upset. Anyway, I feel like I'm on a soapbox. I feel like I'm preaching.
Hey,
Sorry.
You got a
You wanna
good
share a
soapbox.
little
What'd
bit
you say?
about this mural? I'm showing the hair one now.
Oh yeah, okay. So this mural is in Tel Aviv. No other city would accept this mural. It's the most controversial mural. So on May 19th of this year, which is already 4 months ago, I think, something crazy happened. And what happened was the helicopter of the president of Iran, his helicopter mysteriously crashed into the Alborz Mountains. Now, the Alborz Mountains are in the north of Iran. And when that happened, the people of Iran rejoiced. There were fireworks. People were handing out free food. It was a miracle. Honestly, it was like an answer to prayer. Now, the president of Iran is not nearly as powerful as the supreme leader, but it's still a big deal. So I started looking online, and this underground artist in the Middle East designed something very similar to this. And so ignore the finger and just look at the helicopter and the hair. So his name was President Raisi, and President Raisi killed 20,000 Iranians. Now, often you'll hear of a leader killing people that are not his own people. Often you'll hear that. This man kills his own people. He kills his own Persian men and women. It's like an unbelievable crime. And so on the bottom is the women who he murdered, and their hair is pulling down his helicopter. And then you see the words, Esters of the world rise up. Hey, can you guys go talk to these kids? Can you go talk to them? Go talk to them. Go talk to them. Sorry, I got interrupted by these guys right here.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Are
So
they
then,
there for the unveiling, Hooman?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So I don't know if you guys know this, but there are in Israel there are Ethiopian Jews. There's a lot of Jews that came from Ethiopia and they relocated because the Jews in Ethiopia get persecuted. There's still some Jews left in Ethiopia, but the vast majority of them are in Israel. And the Israelis in 1980 sent planes to Ethiopia and brought over the Jews. Okay, anyway, back to the mural. So you've got the helicopter, you got the hair, you got Esters of the world rise up. And then in the left-hand corner, you're going to see a verse, Jeremiah 49:38, where God says, I will set my throne in Elam and destroy her kings and officials, declares the Lord. Over and over in the Bible, you'll hear God say, I'm going to put my throne in Jerusalem. I'm going to put my throne in Zion. I'm going to put my throne in Israel. You see this over and over. Then you got this one obscure verse where God says, I'm going to put my throne in Elam, the ancient name of Iran. And then he says, I'm going to destroy her king and officials. So I put the finger of God in this mural, showing that this helicopter didn't just crash. It was a fulfillment of the scripture. Like, I feel like the hand of God was involved. And so I wanted to make a biblical representation with an image of the people of Iran coming together against a tyrannical regime and then the hand of God intervening. And I just want to tell you one other thing about Iran. Now I'm not, this isn't a political statement. This is just the truth. And you need to sit with this. Iran is a country where only the bad guys have guns. And if you have a country where only the bad guys have guns, the people will have no peace. They'll have no freedom. They'll have no rights. And if you armed the people of Iran, then this regime would not exist.
What else can we?
I see this as being so interesting just for the simple fact that Iran is the linchpin for terrorism across the world, you know.
It's true.
And if they fall, the whole stack of cards falls. And it is interesting that nobody's really paying, or well, not nobody, but a lot of people aren't paying attention to the Free Iran movement when it is probably one of the most significant things that, if successful, would bring peace to the world.
100% yes. And you would stop because I don't know what your guys' politics are, but you can research it. The Biden administration has given the Islamic regime of Iran $20 billion over the past 2 years. And that has really fed the machine of war in a really horrific way. And you're talking about tens of thousands of lives. When you give money to the Islamic regime, they never give it to the people. They only use it to build weapons. So we already know the FBI released this, but Iran builds the drones for Russia to attack Ukraine. So Russia gives Iran money, and then the money that the Biden is used to build drones to attack Ukraine. So you're right. If you can make Iran fall, you have peace in the majority of the world. Well, that's it, everyone. I think I gotta get going. Does anyone else have any final questions? If not, I'm gonna let you all go.
Well, I have. So as far as once you're hanging the murals, and Jerry, you're on mute. I don't know if you're trying to speak. When are we going to be able to see that live? Can we get one of the kids to hold the camera once you go live, or what do you think? Because I can keep the room open.
I mean, I can stick the camera on like a table, and would that be good in case nobody can go
That'd be
live
fine.
and hold it? But I'm basically gonna say everything that I already told you guys. But yeah,
Oh,
I can
hear
go
you.
live.
Either way, look. Bottom line is, let's get a recording of it. Whether we do
Yeah,
it or somebody records it, and then
100%.
yeah, and then we can, get it, push it out to the community because we have to bring awareness and
Absolutely.
Jerry, what
So
do you have a comment?
No, just go in good health, and may the unveiling be the joy that it should be.
thanks, brother. Thank you, Jerry. It really means you give me such great words of encouragement every time I see you. So thanks, man. It's funny because every time I hang one of these murals, I get thousands of messages from around the world. Hamas is gonna kill you. You're a dead man. This and that. So, Jerry, your words balance out all the hate.
Good.
Jerry does
I'm
that.
glad to balance. I'm glad to balance.
All right, so listen, why don't we do this? I gotta bounce because I gotta talk to the people in the shelter and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to get. So right now in Israel, it's 4:44. Make a wish. It's 4:44, and I think I'll come back on in about 20 minutes. So if you guys are still here, I'll do the unveiling live.
Yeah, or just text me and I'll spin it back up. So either way.
Okay, you got it.
Hey, brother.
Thanks, everyone. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I hope you enjoyed that.
Are you kidding?
All right, I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you in 20 minutes.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. For those of you watching on YouTube, we'll restart it once the mural unveiling.